Well, 2 full weeks, but yeah.
What's happening, We Think We Know fam? On today's episode, we're talking NBA. The NBA season has officially started, meaning the All-Star break has concluded. Time to talk some ball. We're going to, catch you up to everything that's happened in the season so far. Big-time trades, big-time buyouts. Talk a little bit of All-Star game and give a little predictions, awards, Eastern, Western Conference Finals, maybe some finals. Yeah, just talk some NBA. So let's get it rolling. What's up, Jake?
What up, what up?
Good to be back.
Good to be back. Back in the lab, back in the booth.
A little bit of a hiatus,
A little
but
bit.
yeah, back in the booth, talking ball. We never talked Super Bowl. We never just concluded that. So just like quick little thing, Chiefs get their second Super Bowl ring. Mahomes' second Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, we're approaching Chiefs dynasty territory.
It's already talked about.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm
5 straight
not-
AFC
I'm not-
championship games.
We're getting there. It's not there yet.
Do I think they're a dynasty? I don't think they're a dynasty yet. But they get it done. I lose some money. I actually ended up winning like $50, I think, off the Super Bowl. But
That's
I missed out
I
on
lost about 40 because I just got a little too crazy with the bets. Missed out on not to cut you off. Missed out on $5,000. I needed 5 more receiving yards and a touchdown for McKinnon, and I would have won $5,000. That would have been nice. But hey, I won the plus 450 on the if a kick hits an upright.
And that's the doink. I wanted to make that bet.
The doink, that was a good bet. Plus 450.
Bro, I lost $60 because Kelsey ended up with 6 receptions. I took the 7 receptions, 75 yards, and it'd be the first touchdown score. And everything hit but the catches. He ends with 6 for 85. And then I missed another. Oh, I missed they needed two sacks. Kansas City. I would have hit another one. I had one for 7 racks.
Yeah,
that one was close.
She's like, tell me this doesn't sound bad. Plus 100,000.
That one,
hear me out.
I think that one was plus 150,000. I got that one to plus 150,000. But the crazy thing is that shit started to hit right away. It was Kelsey touchdown score.
You had
Tony. Yeah, my boy Tooney.
Tooney touchdown.
Tooney touchdown. Kelsey yards, Juju yards, McKinnon yards.
Yeah, you were close on a couple.
Yeah, very close. But
go Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm a little salty about it. But yeah, the Eagles defense just didn't pull through, bro. And it was I really think they were a very good team, but the competition they played all year, it really showed.
100%. And that's I've been trying to say. I know they were a good team. They were best in the NFC. I'll give them their flowers for that. But their competition, their level of competition this year was subpar. And I don't know. I'm not going to say hashtag Sodgate. Sodfather needs to be looked at a little bit. We've all seen the things where the Eagles kept falling and the Chiefs fell half the amount of time.
A third.
But yeah, whatever. I'm glad the Eagles lost. They talked all that shit and got humbled.
Yeah, I'm just excited for this offseason. Huge offseason for my boys coming up. Ryan Poles. Let's get to work. Yeah. I'm excited to see what franchise tags come. But yeah, we'll catch you guys up to everything NFL as the offseason, continues and evolves a little bit and actually starts, in the new league.
The franchise tag deadline is actually officially open today. So next week we'll have some tags to talk about.
But let's shift. Let's talk some NBA.
Undisputed GOAT now.
Stop.
Point record.
That's hilarious. I didn't even write that down on my thing because I figured you'd bring it up right away. But I don't even have that written down as topics I want to talk about NBA, hilariously enough. But okay, let's start with that. This NBA season, I think, is largely going to be remembered as, the season LeBron broke the all-time scoring record, passing Kareem, a record that stood for 40 plus years. Really didn't think anyone was going to get it. It's a big longevity award, but yeah, Bron, it becomes a leading scorer, and that is all they can talk about because the Lakers are so bad. And he's not going to do anything in the postseason, so it's just been the LeBron parade. And if you guys watched the All-Star game, the whole halftime was just about Bron. They tried to do the top 3 scores, but it was all about Bron and then passing the torch to him and shit. But I think that's going to be the biggest narrative coming out of this season.
I agree. That's the first thing I brought it up.
Yeah.
First thing I brought up.
Do you really? Let's jump right into this shit. You really think he's the GOAT though? Like, be honest.
I mean, I guess we all view.
We're gonna get right into the GOAT debate right away.
Everyone views it differently. I do think LeBron is the GOAT. I mean, understandably, Michael Jordan and Bill Russell, all these guys have more rings than him, but for him to go to 10 straight finals, I think is going to be one of the most slept on things ever. I know Jordan three-peated twice and actually has been to some finals, but for 10 straight years to be there, and now he's
and have 4 rings.
4 rings. I know it's tough, but like 2 of them with that KD Curry. No,
was it 10 straight or 9 straight?
Might have been 9 straight, but either way, still. And he'd have 2 more if it wasn't for KD going to the Warriors. So,
I mean, he already had lost to that Warriors team. You know,
And when he lost to that Warriors team, he was without Kevin Love and Kyrie. Kyrie was banged up. But besides the point, whatever, I do think he is the greatest of all time because he's now the scoring leader. Went to 9 or 10 straight finals. Is going to finish top 5 or top 10 in every major statistical category besides, was it rebounds? He's like 13th or something like that. But,
yeah.
I mean, for him.
He's going to be a 40,000, 10,000, 10,000 first time ever.
You know, and I think that speaks for itself. And I think you have to count off the court things into it as well, which no one does. LeBron has been under the most scrutiny ever since he was 18 years old, has never fucked up legally, has never been in any very controversial headlines, anything like that. I'm not shitting on Jordan. Phenomenal basketball player, and I'm a fan, but I mean, there was multiple things he was in trouble for with gambling and stuff like that.
I mean, not in trouble for. My dude liked to, drink a little bit, smoke a stogie, and hit the casino. What's wrong with that?
I'm not hating.
All 3 of those things are legal. Bron, he's an amazing guy off the court, but that can't come into the GOAT debate. The GOAT is strictly what happens on the court. When you tie them laces up, not when you got your, street clothes, because
that's why everyone's got their own street clothes days. No, everyone's got their own definition, but I think that plays a role into that. And also, Michael Jordan was more of a selfish individual type player. LeBron makes everyone on the court around him better. So It just depends what.
Depending though, I mean, Jordan actually built up his players in practice by tearing them down. He actually made players around him better. Whereas Bron jumps ship every single time there's some sort of difficulty or some sort of obstacle. He's out, 0 loyalty. He's the one who literally started having no loyalty to your team. He started having the first person to literally just take rest days off, and now that's the biggest talk in the league. And now they're talking about shortening the season 72 games only because Bron just refuses to play 20 games a year, strictly for rest. Is he the GOAT? No, you got to play 82 games for me. You can't lose 6 championships. I don't care what all the other things are talked about. He lost to the Mavericks that 2011 year. It's just not the GOAT. Yeah, you can't lose 6 finals and me consider you the GOAT. I think this is an amazing feat. And I do think he's, overall basketball player, he may be the best all-around basketball player, but when it comes down to it, it's about winning, and it's about knowing, no matter what, I'm not losing this game, I'm not losing this series. And Jordan just had that, and he would take over games, and Bron just, 6 times didn't come up. But we're celebrating him here. My co-captain here is the biggest LeBron supporter. This side of the Mississippi.
I don't even got a jersey. It ain't like that.
There's a jersey folded up right here.
That was a gift. I forgot about that.
Literally one 5 feet from us as we sit here and talk. I'm surprised it's not up on the fucking wall. And you got a LeBron figurine 3 feet away.
Oh, I forgot about little homie too. My bad. My bad, bro.
But no, I mean, you know where I stand, fam. I'm biased. I'm a Bulls fan. I'm from Chicago. Jordan will always be number one. I don't think anyone will be able to overtake him because it's just like the childhood and just like the legend of Jordan. And you want to talk about off the court stuff? I mean, Bron ain't pulling in Jordan money. You know?
He's probably close. I mean, I know Jordan's making like $220 million a year from the Jordan brand itself. But LeBron has so many different endorsements, and
I guess
deals and business.
He's not making money off of his name. I guess like because it's the Jordan brand. You know, like he pretty much built Nike. I don't know, homies.
You see, I mean, just talking about that, we're gonna go see that Air movie, right?
100%.
That does look great.
If you guys haven't seen the preview for that, it's Baffleck and Matt Damon, and they're starring. I should have looked up their names. Just threw it out.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to give you
the
their
old
names.
CEO or whatever, but it's the story of Nike and how they, acquired Jordan and built the Jordan brand up. It looks fucking phenomenal. Yeah, we're definitely gonna go see that.
Yeah,
but yeah, Bron's not the GOAT. Let's talk some NBA moves that have currently happened. We've given this man his flowers. Big time trades, bro. This trade deadline, I feel like, was very exciting. They were talking about a few players that for sure were going to be on the move that never moved, and then the couple bombshells.
Yeah.
Brooklyn unloading, which I think is the right
with Kyrie.
It's the right move for them. Brooklyn's been in a weird situation since they got James Harden. I thought it was going to be good when it was just him and Kyrie. The James Harden factor that went in there, it's probably going to go down as like the biggest miss in NBA history, but 100 out of 100 times, if I'm a GM and I have that opportunity, I'm taking that shot. To put KD, Kyrie, and Harden on the floor together.
Those three together, you have to try it. It's just crazy that, was it 2 or 3 years, they only played like 24 games together.
That's not nuts.
I can't even fathom it. It's really hard to put into words, like, especially with the money spent. The three guys you traded everything for only played 24 games together. Like, it's absurd, and you wouldn't even believe it if you heard it the first time. I don't know how they fucked that up, but they had to blow it up now at this point. Like, just going into last year, there was too much with the owner, Joe. Is it Tsai or Josai? Josai. Just there was too much of a weird relationship, owner to player relationship with him and Kyrie and him and KD as well.
Mm-hmm.
I know Durant is going to go down as the best offensive scorer of all time, so his input is everything when you want to build a team. But there was just too much, and I guess you kind of got to give him his credit too for actually just saying, you know what, this didn't work. We're going to pivot and try something else. And they got hell of first-round picks.
They did. And, this is what happens when you allow a player to come in and dictate the moves that the team and the organization makes. And I totally get it. I think all of these superstars should have input, but I don't think that they should be the final say. And I feel like this is what happens. They gave Durant and Kyrie pretty much full control of who they wanted to, play around. And then all of a sudden there's not success. The team wants to come in, make moves. The player doesn't agree with these moves, and then they request a trade. The fact that KD requested a trade it was
last year.
Yeah. That never happened. He signs this, extension with them. The whole Kyrie debacle since he's been there, from, the vaccine to his tweets, have just been ridiculous. He's been nothing but...
He's been more of a distraction than anything.
Or an inconvenience, and he can clearly still play, which is totally... The smartest move by Kyrie was for him to shut up for a little bit, not say anything, go out there, drop 40 a night, and then be like, I want to trade. And then he's like, look, I kept it together for 30 days. I got my 30-day badge.
I got my sober coin.
Yeah.
My 1 month sobriety coin.
From saying fucking crazy shit.
And he went to a great place with Mavs and Mark Cuban. Like, he's a player owner for sure. But he's a stern guy, and he's well respected. I think the Mavericks was probably one of the best spots for him if he wasn't going to go to a bigger market like LA to be back with LeBron, or
that's
even Phoenix.
Yeah, I think I think he ended up in the right spot. So yeah, Kyrie gets traded to Dallas. It's the first domino. Yeah, what are the grades for you? Grade that. What's your grade for Dallas? What's your grade for the Nets?
If Kyrie could keep it together and not have another slip up or decide he just doesn't want to play for half a year, as long as Kyrie doesn't do Kyrie things, I think it's an A for the Mavs. We've been saying they need to get Luka another more strong offensive scorer, if that would be the right way to say that. Like, Tim Hardaway is not bad, but he can all of a sudden just go cold for like 5 games, and like you just don't see anything from him. So
and yeah, in those late game situations when Luka wasn't making shots, they weren't scoring.
Yeah,
they need another guy. Go get a bucket.
And Kyrie's one of the best.
100%.
If not the best, especially finishing at the rim. Like the way he's able to contort his body and hit those layups is phenomenal. So
I'm actually really excited to watch them play side by side.
I'm interested if he can stay. It's an A if he can keep his head straight and keep his shit together.
I'm just interested to see how it works because, I mean, Luka's the most ball dominant player maybe the league's ever seen. James Harden, Houston is high, but yeah, I'm interested to see, and I'm just interested to see when things don't go well for them. What's Luka's reaction? What's the team's reaction? And what's Kyrie's reaction? Because now, like, he is such an amazing basketball player that he's going to get these opportunities. But there's so many. I mean, now how many teams has he been on, fam? He can't stay in a spot. Since he left Cleveland, Boston was a freaking mess.
Yeah,
Boston was a huge miss. Brooklyn, a bigger disaster than Boston was. Yeah, is Dallas... if I'm giving grades for this one, I'm probably giving the Nets a B+ and Dallas like a B-.
Okay.
Honestly, I think Dallas...
you're giving the Nets the higher grade just because they were able to cut ties and get rid of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. I think they had to. At some point, you just gotta, wash your hands of a situation and start from scratch and get a clean slate. And Brooklyn was able to do that, acquire a ton of assets and, trade picks. It always sucks when you lose a top 3 player in the NBA in Kevin Durant, and probably when he's balling, a top 10 to 12 player in the league in Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
So they're going to be in a rough little rebuild, but I don't know, the assets, it's New York, it's Brooklyn, it's a huge market. I know they're a second-class team to the Knicks in New York, but...
Not to jump over, because there were some other moves that happened before it, but let's just get right into the KD thing, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they got hella picks, and they are kind of in a rebuild, but to get Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, I mean, those are starters.
This is one...
Mikal Bridges we thought he was going to win Defensive Player of the Year last year.
He should have, in my opinion. Yeah, he's a better defender than Marcus Smart.
Yeah, totally. I hate Marcus Smart.
This one, I gave a straight A+ to both sides. I think this is one of the best trades.
You don't feel like Phoenix gave up too much?
For Kevin Durant, no. Like, when you think of what Kevin Durant can do, he literally carried that whole Brooklyn team, and they should have beat Milwaukee if his foot's not on the line.
Yeah.
And they're probably winning the chip that year.
Legit by an inch, bro.
An inch.
If his toe.
If he didn't wear size 29.
Yeah. If homie wore a size 13 and not a 17.
Yeah. But I gave it an A+. I think for the player that Kevin Durant is, and not only just the player, but like when you acquire a player of Kevin Durant's caliber, ticket prices go up, merch goes off the shelf,
sold out all the time.
You know what I'm saying? They're automatically jumped up to the 3rd favorite odds to win it all. I think this was an amazing move. New owner coming in Phoenix. Let's make a fucking move. Let's do something big. I think Mikal Bridges, no matter what was in that trade, I know everyone was like, man, I wish they wouldn't have gave up Mikal Bridges. I don't think Brooklyn makes that if you don't get a player like Mikal Bridges.
No, 100%.
They
his first game, starting player back.
His first game goes into Brooklyn, drops a career high 42 points, balls it up with a 35. I think he's a great player, and he's the most available player in the league. The dude does not miss games. But for Brooklyn to get Cam Johnson,
ability is availability.
Facts. Mikal Bridges, a ton of draft capital, and then for the Suns to not only get Kevin Durant, but for TJ Warren to be thrown in there, he's a curveball of like off the bench. All of a sudden, he can go for 25.
Yeah.
You know, if
No,
Bubba Warren comes back, look out.
True. I forgot TJ Warren was in that too. Great little pickup for them on that side of things too.
Yeah, you know, losing Crowder too. He didn't even play for them, so to be able to get off of him is great for Phoenix. I mean, and if Booker, the thing is for them now, it's all health. All three of their players are amazing, but all three have injury history.
And they've been hurt this year already too.
Exactly. At least Kevin Durant always is kind of hurt and then gets healthy for the playoffs and, you know, plays. Achilles aside.
That's a great point though, what you said of like with the owner too, just like with merch and whatnot. I mean, us being out here in Arizona, Phoenix fans have been bought in for the last 3 years.
You can't buy a Durant jersey right now.
So just for him to come in and make a splash like that, he's gonna recoup probably $100 million just in Durant merch sales.
100.
Like,
yeah.
Phoenix is bought in, and now they're hella bought in.
Yeah, and
So-
they're gonna. If they weren't selling out games, they're selling out every game.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna go see him play.
Well, Durant's your favorite player.
Yeah. I'm a little salty about that. Honestly, I'm giving them both A pluses, but just living out here, I don't want to sound sour. I do kind of root for the Suns, but then you start hearing the Suns fans get a little too cocky and shit, and I'm like,
You just
I back up from that. I'm like, I want y'all to fucking crumble.
Yeah, you're in a dilemma. It's like you want KD to win more rings, but
and I can't have KD.
we can't listen to all these fans out here all the time.
At least the thing I hold is like my boy had to come in and save the day. You know?
True. Captain Save His Son.
But that's the thing is because if he doesn't win one here, it'll be another huge asterisk on KD's. You know, the way people will view him.
To me,
you know?
this already is another asterisk.
I don't think so. I think
mean,
if he comes in and wins this is huge.
This is like the 1A Warriors, 1B Suns.
Not even
like,
close. The Warriors had already won championships. The Suns have been on a decline since they made it to the finals. They've been somewhat of a debacle this year. For him to come in, and if they save the season and win a chip, fam, a team that's never won one. You know, Phoenix has never won a championship.
Yeah.
I think it would be a huge. So, what's your grade on it?
I don't know if I'm gonna. Oh, did I unplug you?
No, you're good.
Okay, bet. Gotta put my feet down.
Jake's breaking shit.
Always. Been a day with the audio too before we got this going.
Oh.
I'm gonna give the Nets. Yeah, I'm gonna give the Nets an A for it, just because, like we said with the Kyrie shit, that it was just time to blow it up and start from scratch. And to get what they got, phenomenal. You can really build around Mikal Bridges, and Cam Johnson can go off. But I'm gonna give the Suns like a B minus, mostly just
Oh.
because of what we were saying with the injuries. Like, I know they said Durant's gonna be back already right after the All-Star break. He'd be playing, but if either one of those guys gets hurt again and misses time going into the postseason, I don't think they're winning a ring this year. Like, I know those guys are phenomenal basketball players, phenomenal scorers. Chris Paul probably is one of the only point guards you want to actually be able to distribute to him and whatnot, so he gets comfortable. But if one of those guys get hurt, they're not winning it. And then this was an all-in for this year because the league's wide open right now.
Can you imagine though?
I mean, he's going to be there the next 3 years, but
And that's the thing is you get him. I mean, Chris Paul. This is now or never for Chris Paul. But if they do stay healthy, bro, the way Kevin Durant can just insert himself pretty much in any team because he's the least ball dominant superstar of all time. He can go get 30 on 10 touches. And Book,
Sure,
Book
that's a good
Book
point.
is not a ball dominant scorer either. They have two of the like least ball possessive superstars in the game right now with one of the best facilitators of all time. I think this is gonna resurge DeAndre Ayton a little bit. I think this is gonna
it's going to
amount of
open it up for
offense
him
he's
so
gonna get.
much down low. They're just going to be able to run and gun.
And they're going to have so many. They're going to be able to attack from so many different angles. The mid range is just going to be crazy with Book and KD on the floor. I do think the defense is going to take a step back a little bit, but people sleep on how good of a defender Durant is. I go to the grave saying he's been a better defender than Bron. Homie is a great defender in postseason too. And I think I know the Nuggets have been balling, but no one wants to see the Suns right now in the playoffs.
No,
7-game series, trying to take them down if healthy. Like, just think.
This is a better version of what Mike D'Antoni wanted 13 years ago.
Yeah, I have such. I don't know. My imagination for how this offense can really look fully clicking is like, it can be as pretty a basketball to watch as when the Warriors were clicking with him. You know, it was just like crisp, clean,
Where it's
open
just
shots,
not-
ball
it's not
movement.
fair.
It's not, honestly, and it's just like beautiful basketball to watch. I think they have the potential to do that. And I don't know if I'm setting my expectations too high.
I think you are.
I'm getting ahead of myself, but the potential is there, bro. Like, I want to see just fucking beautiful basketball like that. Ball movement, I have high expectations for you, Phoenix. Don't fucking let me down. Yeah. Okay, though, you're not as okay.
Yeah, maybe I'm being a little bit of a hater, but
You don't like KD though.
it's not that I don't like him. I'm just, for how much LeBron gets criticism, it just baffles me that KD does not get the same.
He gets criticized all the time, bro.
Not nearly. Everyone is all up in LeBron's shit about.
Because Bron calls himself
No
the best
loyalty,
player
no
ever.
loyalty, no loyalty. Durant has said that before.
No. Maybe, but it's not like a. The homie literally tattoos chosen one on himself.
He is. He's literally gonna fucking retire top 5 in all statistical categories. Durant's not even gonna sniff that.
Now it's top 5.
I'm just saying.
Okay, yeah. Kevin Durant hate is playing a role in this trade evaluation from Jake, but that's all right. Let's move on to the next move. Your boys, purple and yellow, finally able to get off of Russ. What the sigh of relief when you saw that? I mean, you were riding the hype on the Russ train heavy from the moment they did it. You're like, he's gonna fix Russ. They're gonna win a chip.
No, I never. I always put words in my mouth.
This is going to be up there, not quite the Brooklyn debacle, but this is up there for huge misses.
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, and you know, I've been very critical of LeBron for this because we know LeBron was the voice in getting Russ to the Lakers, and that's his own ego getting in front of him, saying he could be the one to win with Russ. I know that for a fucking fact. I mean, don't think he ever said it, but you just know. You know, like that was a
word
pure,
in the locker room.
Yeah, that was a pure ego move, and it cost him probably another ring.
Mm-hmm.
To be real, because the Lakers just didn't have any money or anything to work with because no one wanted Russ's contract.
I mean, and throw in the fact that AD can't stay on the floor.
That
it was,
too.
Yeah.
But the Lakers finally decided to give in and give up that 27 first rounder. Got rid of Russ. It was necessary if they wanted to make the playoffs.
You think they have a shot?
I think they'll make the play-in.
Okay.
I do. They just
Well, they're the third and 13 in the West right now.
Malik Beasley's not bad.
He's good.
This Rui Hachimura hasn't been playing terrible. Like if he can get a little bit more consistent. I didn't realize that Vanderbilt homie's not that bad either. Like I'm not saying it was a win for them, but
yeah.
How inconsistent Russ can be on offense, I do think the Lakers got better.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably going to win 6th Man of the Year this year, though, bro.
That doesn't correlate to getting to the postseason and winning postseason games, though. I mean, that.
I know Russ and the whole Russ thing was a big bomb and a failure. And I put a lot of the blame on Russ, and rightfully so. But as like this whole process has come to an end, you go back, you reflect on the relationship you've had. I was going back and just reflecting on that shit, and I changed my blame meter. It was literally I've never been a big Russell Westbrook fan. I will be upfront with that. I didn't like him since OKC. I really feel like he derailed Kevin Durant's opportunities a few times, and I don't feel like Kevin Durant gets enough credit for really taking that team as far as he did when you have Russ, where it doesn't matter, you're not getting the last shot. A homie who's going to brick it from 30 is taking it, and you're still winning games. But this situation, I say it's like 50% Russ, maybe even 40% Russ's fault. I think I'm going to do this even. I'm actively moving my meter.
Okay.
I'm going 30%
Well,
Russ.
where were you at before? And
I was
then
at,
say
like-
what you're moving.
Okay, I was at like 70% Russ, 20% AD, 10% Bron. Kind of like on the blame, because it's like Russ needs to figure out how to fit in, and I feel like he was just doing too much. He just gets like over hyper out there. But when you really look at the totality since he's been there,
So no blame for management for actually just.
I was just going players,
Okay.
you know, of like, because it's up to them,
Yeah.
you know. And Bron
Gotcha.
wanted to make the move, so of the 3 players, like that's who I was. My blame. Those are the 3 players I'm
Yeah.
blaming. You know, Pelinka, Buses, they can get a little blame, but it was Bron's idea, and those 3 players not being able to get on the same page and win fucking basketball games. And now I'm at like 30% Russ, 60% AD,
That's what I was.
10% Bron. And I just have to go more AD because
If he can stay on the fucking court.
that's what it is. And everything really stems from that. And all of their, like right now, these moves are great. And it's 100% what is AD going to do? What is he going to bring to the table? Like,
Yeah.
that's how far they go. And right now I haven't seen it. So I don't even know if they make the play-in. I wouldn't be surprised if they missed the play-in again. Even being able to get off him. I think they added great assets. But it's always been an AD's court, and the ball is going to continue to stay in AD's court of how far the Lakers go.
Hey, if D'Angelo Russell can kind of just wiggle his way in and they start flowing on offense, I think they'll be all right.
Which is hilarious. He's back there.
I know. This.
LeBron's like, get him out.
He's a better scorer than Russ.
Wait, D'Lo? Yeah, because he was the one who recorded in the locker room with Nick Young and Iggy Azalea, right?
Yeah, that was him.
It's hilarious.
Oh.
He's more of a scorer, can shoot threes. I like the pieces. It's literally, if AD is healthy, they're a formidable team in the West. I think they're a top 6 team in the West, maybe 5.
Yeah.
You know,
And if they can just start stacking some games together, yeah, they'll make the play in. I do, and I know they traded talking about grades and whatnot. I give them like a B. Just to get rid of Russ. I know they got rid of him first, but
just all their moves.
all the other moves with Rui Hachimura. That was their first trade before
Mhm.
everything really started popping off. But like Malik Beasley is not a bad player.
He's good.
I mean D'Lo, really not that bad at all. Just depends what version of him you get, and then
Streaky.
I don't know much about Vanderbilt, so I'm not going to speak on it. But he doesn't seem like a bad player at all.
Rotational guy,
Rotational guy,
you know.
and they needed more depth on that end. Like they,
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I think it's just so funny that Russ finds his way next door.
has he officially signed? With
Yeah.
the Clips?
Yeah, so he's with the Clippers.
And they traded for Eric Gordon too.
I was just gonna say,
gotta mention that.
Clippers making moves. Always seen as the basement team to Staples / crypto. I want to buy into the Clippers. For some reason, I love Paul George too.
Yeah.
He's always been one of my favorites since in Indy. If he never broke his leg, totally different. But dude's a stud. I like Kawhi. I'm not like, I just hate that he sits and he's a little extra for me.
Yeah.
For not saying anything, he's super extra. I don't know. The John Wall experiment completely failed, and now they're gonna go with the Russ thing. And everyone, still has these high expectations for the Clippers. I am calling a failure. I think Eric Gordon, it's nice to actually see him get out of Houston. He didn't deserve that for that many years.
They did him dirty. He was probably chilling though. He was making bands.
Yeah, but just going out there winning 12 games a year.
Yeah. No, I disagree. I think it's either going to be the Nuggets or the Clippers versus the Suns in the Western Conference Finals.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they just have enough rotational guys. Like, they have, even just adding Russ, like, if you can just drill through his head, like, don't shoot. We just want you to play nothing but hard physical defense. It's not gonna happen.
That'll never happen. That's what we've been saying for 10 years.
He's in a better position as far as like the Russell Westbrook experience or experiment, whatever you want to call it. I think he's in a better situation with the Clippers than he was with the Lakers.
I agree with that.
Like, there's not nearly as much pressure on him.
Yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, I agree with that. Because I think the way that Kawhi and Paul George can play off of him is easier than what Bron and AD could do. I mean, and Russ and PG had success in OKC. You know, they both averaged like that was the last year they played. Russ had averaged a triple-double that year, and PG was scoring he was averaging like 29 a game.
Yeah.
Well,
PG's kind of turned into like a catch and shoot guy, so that
buckets.
plays well with Russ is just like ball dominant.
Yeah.
Control. So we'll see how it goes.
I think Eric Gordon though is a great move for them.
Yeah.
Great shooter, reliable, and can pop
vet.
off.
Just a vet.
Yeah.
You know?
And wants to win. You know. Yeah. I did want to talk about my boys a little bit.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Bulls end up not trading Zach LaVine. You know, is the biggest talk. I really thought the Bulls were going to make moves just in general. The fact that we made no moves is a little surprising to me. We did sign Pat Bev. Dubs. We officially ruled out Lonzo for the entire year, which you knew that was going to happen. I didn't think he was going to come back. The complications with the knee.
Is he still under contract with you guys next year?
I think so.
I think that's why you guys didn't make any moves. I think you guys are just. It sucks as a fan and like as a franchise, but I think you guys are just taking the L this year, and let's try and do what we wanted to do this year next year.
Yeah, but we're kind of a middle of the pack team right now, bro. It's like we needed to make a splash. You know, Zach LaVine is making so much money. He's not in that upper echelon of superstars. You know, he's a streaky dude. He's having, tiffs in the fucking locker room now. Watching the Chicago Bulls play is like the most frustrating thing ever, because it's like this year is a complete opposite of last year. Last year we beat every single bad team, but we got absolutely stomped by Boston, Milwaukee, Philly. And this year it's the exact opposite. We're actually playing the good teams in the East and the West amazing, and then we go out there and we're blowing games to the Rockets and the fucking Pistons, and they're just such a streaky team. I don't know. The Bulls just don't have an identity. You know, they really don't. I feel like we have a lot of really good pieces, and I really wish we would have made some moves. Something. Pat Bev's not the answer. What's going to happen is
he's just an energy. He's a spark guy.
We're going to creep our way in. We're probably going to be a play-in team this year, which sucks. Right now we're sitting at 11, and we are 2 games back of the Raptors at 10. There's a chance we don't even make the play-in.
Crazy.
Need to do something.
I think you guys had an identity with Lonzo, though. It was systematic offense, splash plays with LaVine.
And we saw it for 20 games. That's it.
But it looked good. You guys were one of the hottest teams in the NBA, though.
I know.
You guys were like,
we were the number
you
one
guys
seed.
were going from like 1 to 3 seed there until Lonzo's knee got fucked up.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah, it sucks.
Of this.
I definitely thought
this
DeMar
season
was gone. Just him being like, he's a vet that deserves a fucking championship.
I definitely thought he was, and I really thought we were going to deal Caruso. Everyone wanted Caruso. I really thought he was going to go to the Warriors, which I was hoping we would have dealt him and maybe try and go get like a Kuminga or go take a shot on Wiseman.
Yeah.
See what he is.
Who'd they just trade Wiseman to? The Blazers, right?
I think so. But yeah, I was hoping they would make some moves. We're just the middle of the pack team. It's disappointing, and the potential of the team is there. We have 2 dudes who can go get you 30 a night. Vooch is 5th in the league right now in rebounds, and if he's hitting his outside shot, Kobe White.
I don't like him.
I don't like Vooch. I don't like him either. I didn't like
he goes 3 of 20 from the floor every night.
I would have rather kept Wendell Carter Jr. when we did the Orlando trade. Just keep Wendell Carter. We don't have to pay Vooch as much. He spaces the floor a little bit, but he gives you 0 defense. Patrick Williams has not flourished the way I was expecting him to flourish, but Kobe White has turned into the player I thought he was going to be. Kobe White is a savage. But if the Patrick Williams piece is just like, I don't know, he's not taking that step.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be Kawhi.
To you.
That was my Kawhi pick, man.
No, he don't be shooting like that, does he?
Butter shot, bro. Butter shot, great defense. I don't know.
Damn, I thought he was more like Robert Williams from Boston. A little bit more of a banger down low.
He's a 6'8" wing, you know?
Okay, I didn't know.
But, yeah, Lonzo being gone, I just knew it was going to happen, but it just sucks seeing that news. I just like the what if, you know?
Yeah.
What if he comes back? What if we make a push, he comes back, you know? Yeah, I don't know. The Bulls just don't have shit to hang their hat on. Like, we get into the playoffs, we're not beating Boston. We're not beating Milwaukee, even with them banged up. We're not beating the 76ers. We're not beating Cleveland.
We might not even beat the Brooklyn team.
Maybe not.
They got together right now. And they're the 5th seed, but I see them.
Knicks, Heat probably beating us.
Yeah. The Heat for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Other news in the East, a little bit of a surprise. You know, this is breaking news. Got that right before we started, but Hawks just dismiss Nate McMillan. I understand it.
Was it a surprise?
They've been disappointing this year. They're 29-30. You know, they're in the 8th spot, I believe, right now. They're in the 8th spot right now. They made a huge move to go get DeJounte Murray from San Antonio, and it just has not clicked with him and Trey and that team. It just, I think
them getting to the Eastern Conference Finals put too much pressure on them.
100%. It was a fluke. It was one of those things you kind of catch the right team to get there, and then it's kind of how I viewed Boston.
Yeah.
You know?
And they just got hot at the right time, and now
Boston's a way better team than these guys.
They are who we thought they were.
They are.
Like that.
And I don't
know.
How much of the blame you put on Nate McMillan and how much of it do you put on Trey? Because I feel like Trey has got to be one of the hardest players to coach.
That's where I was going with it, too. I think it has a lot to do with Trey Young. But we're in such a player movement league now, and it's been that way for the last 5 years or so, and it's getting even progressively more of a players league, especially the NBA. I think they had to do it just because him and Trey clearly did not get along at all. I mean, we saw even was it last year in the playoffs or whatever, Trey took his own private jet home. Like, he didn't even fly back with the team. No.
And they got into the locker room this year a couple times.
Would I want to play with somebody like that? No. Trey Young seems like he's a piece of shit, to be honest with you.
Let him know, Jay.
He just doesn't seem like a good dude. I don't know. It's just like his mannerisms on the court. I don't know. He doesn't seem...
A little cocky.
Yeah. Just a little asshole.
Yeah.
Little man syndrome, you know?
And then for him to completely get shut down.
Because all we heard when they went to the Eastern Conference Finals was like, holy shit, Nate McMillan, fantastic coach.
Yeah.
So
from ownership, though, fans come to see Trey Young. They don't come to see Nate McMillan. And your job as the head coach is to make this work. You know, we're giving you all of these players, build a system that fucking makes this work. So I totally get it from their standpoint, but I don't think it's, you know, they have the interim, it's the lead assistant takes over. I think, you know, when the assistants take over, they change up some shit, but they usually just keep what's working, you know, so the regime doesn't change. I think they're going to be in the exact same team the remainder of the year. And I don't know if it's a get another coach, plug and play. I don't know. I think you have to move on from Trey Young. I thought they were going to trade him for sure. Surprised he didn't get moved, honestly.
Character. I don't think he got moved because people don't want his drama. He seems... I'm not trying to just hashtag shit on Trey Young right now. You know, whatever you want. I'm not trying to make this a
Ice Tray? What you got against Ice Tray, bro?
I'm not trying to make this a hate party on Ice Tray. But, yeah, I just don't think... I think teams also see the way he is. You hear stories about how he flew home alone without the team. Like, that's not someone you build around. So I think they're stuck with him.
I've never liked that. That's Aaron Rodgers 101.
Yeah.
I need my own jet.
And we've always kind of been pretty critical of him anyway, though. It's like he's got a great deep three ball, and he's not a bad mid-range shooter, but
yeah, he's a great scorer.
A lot of his game disappeared when they changed the foul rules.
100%.
You know, so
Harden's
fallen off because of it.
Exactly, and you know they made their money at the line of scrimmage, at the free throw line, and when you're not having 25 free throw attempts a game, all of a sudden it's not as easy to go get 35 a night.
Yeah.
And he's a complete liability on defense. You know, that's what I really feel like gets overlooked with a lot of these players. You know, it's like even, yeah, we'll get into it when we talk about MVP, but the fact that when they talk about these players and how great of a player they are, it's only about offense, what they bring to offense. Like all these awards too is like, MVP is strictly offense. You know, it's like, oh, there's a defensive player of the year, but it's like MVP should be an all-around player award kind of deal. And yeah, Trey's a total liability. I don't know. I think the Hawks needed to do something to try and, you know, send a jolt to try and get this team somewhere this season. But I feel like
they tried with DeJounte and it didn't work out the way they hoped it to. Him and Trey didn't mesh.
Yeah.
So I think Nate McMillan will find himself another job next year for sure. Easy.
100% successful coach.
Yeah.
You know, he'll definitely get picked up on a staff and he'll probably be coaching in the next few years. Yeah. You got any other news? Trades? Buyouts?
We want to get into shitting on the All-Star game
Yeah.
a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's just start. Yeah, so All-Star weekend for the NBA. All-Star weekend for the NBA took place. And I don't know why. It just really doesn't excite me. You know, and gave it a shot.
Lost its lore.
It has. You know, I like the skills challenge. I'm a fan of the skills challenge. The Rising Star is not as
boring.
Not as boring. They actually try to play. It's not the most competitive game, but it's worth watching. You know, these young players are still trying to play. Let's talk about. So I liked those. And then we get to the 3-point contest.
I don't mind the 3-point contest. There's not much you can do there to like spice that up.
That's the biggest.
I've always been a fan of the 3-point.
That's the biggest draw they have. You know, it was always the dunk competition, but it's totally flipped into the 3-point competition. I like it, but I feel like this year's layout was so weird, where they have all of the shooters go, and for some reason maybe it was structured like this last year, but all of a sudden just the next 3 people go on and top score wins. Like I thought there were 3 rounds for some reason.
Yeah. They probably tried to speed it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
what.
For the 3-point competition,
they need to keep that 3 rounds. It's like you go from 8 to 6 to 3.
And maybe they did do it in 2 rounds because of how bad 90% of the shooters were in that 3-point competition. Oh my gosh. Julius Randle.
Britt.
Herter has an 8, second lowest score ever.
First being the GOAT. Your GOAT.
No. It's a long time ago. I'm crying. No, but
the
Herter puts up
one
an
was
8.
a surprise. He's usually buckets.
Usually buckets. Randall did not look good. Halliburton has an amazing first round, puts up a 31. But I don't know, it's just, there was a ton of bricks. I don't know why I'm not looking for perfection or something. It's just like the excitement in this one, it wasn't there.
No, there was only one case where it was like, oh, if he misses the last one, he doesn't get in or whatever.
And Dame winning it on the last shot was dope. Dame finally getting a dub, you know, and a 3-point champion trophy is dope because he is a probably top 5 3-point shooter of all time.
For sure.
So I mean that was good. I'm not hating on that. I think, yeah, they could have spiced it up a little bit more. I think one more round, build it up a little bit more. I know they don't want to get these guys so tired. You know, it's a lot of shots you're throwing up in a short amount of time, but they could have added one more round.
Yeah. We got a G Leaguer winning the slam dunk contest.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Mac McClung, they're saying he resurrected the slam dunk competition. I thought it was dope. It was cool that a G Leaguer got in there. Do I think it resurrected the slam dunk competition? Absolutely not. I still think the slam dunk competition has been a joke for the last 5 years.
It hasn't been cool since the Aaron Gordon Levine one, where he's like jumping over the car, jumping over the.
And I've never liked Levine because Aaron Gordon won both of those. And now I know he's a Bull and whatever. I've never been a big fan of Levine, but Aaron Gordon won those dunk competitions.
Yeah, when he jumped over the
Bullshit.
mascot, that was fire.
I mean, Levine jumped from the free throw line, windmilled and shit. It was dope, but no.
It's kind of like what we said from the beginning. It's just all lost its lore a little bit too. Like we don't have Dwight Howard coming out there with the Superman cape and like
Yeah, and even like
I don't know. And like not to shit on Herb Jones. I don't know what's his real name. Brett Murphy, or what do they call him? Dude from the Pelicans.
yeah,
I can't. I don't know.
I don't even know. I don't even know who was in it.
His dunk, they did the Alvarado, like came from behind him and swiped the ball from him and then threw it off the glass for him. That was all right. I don't know. They need to do something.
At least there wasn't as many misses as the last few years. Because the last few years, when it was just like it took these dudes 5 attempts to get the dunk they wanted, that was just like unbearable to watch.
Yeah, Mac McClung. I mean, he hit all his on his first attempt.
Savage.
That's savage.
And that's like you've been practicing for this. You care about it. You know, a lot of these dudes just going out there trying it and fucking. You can't miss 4 dunks and then get a 50. That can't happen. But I think, that's dope for him. You know, he's made like $120,000 his whole career, won $100,000 for winning the dunk competition, so that's awesome. And if dudes are gonna come in and really try like that and put on a show, then let them perform. But I still think it needs to be the big time stars doing the dunk competition. You know, it just sucks. I get it. The young dudes are trying to get their name out there, but it's like another thing. Bron kind of ruined that. You know, of not having to do it. You know, and he's like,
you can't blame that on Bron.
I am.
All the other guys can go do it. He don't need to. I mean,
the thing of him not doing
does it suck? Yeah, because he's probably one of the best dunkers in the league. So he could do some cool shit. Maybe 5 years ago. Not
one
so
of the
much
best
anymore.
dunkers of all time. Like, just the fact that he never did it, he was scared to lose. Because you can't be the chosen one and lose the dunk competition.
Yeah.
You know?
He got too much ego. I agree with that. But
I don't know. I just want to see big superstars in there. You know, that's what
it's about.
That's what it's
the
about.
All-Star game and the whole weekend should be about.
And especially when, let's shift to the All-Star game. Congrats, Mac McClung. We are pro Mac McClung on this. Dope. Been a Savage since high school. You know, viral dunks, and cool to see that come full circle. You know, but the All-Star game, man, I'm not even over exaggerating when I said I hated it.
I'm over it. I don't even put that shit on TV anymore.
That was so dumb. It was literally watching warm-up basketball, of watching the whole first half when they're just letting them just throw lobs off the fucking glass and no defense being played whatsoever. And everyone's making a big deal about Tatum and, oh my God, you know, he set this All-Star game scoring record and it's for Kobe. And it's like, bruh, they gave him 47 wide open threes.
Yeah.
That game just needs to cease to exist. Like, there was no need to play that on Sunday. We were content after Mac McClung.
Yeah,
you know?
We were. And why
Give us Dame winning the 3, Mac McClung giving the slam dunk, end it.
I like the whole
Get back to
target score to 182 or whatever. Like, I think that's cool. But I actually
it's
want
25
to see...
points after quarter 3, whoever is the highest scorer. Or 24 points for Kobe.
That's what it is. Yeah, you're right. It's not a target 182. That's just what it was because they scored so much.
Yeah, and then it's 24 points from where the third quarter ends. Whoever's winning at the third quarter, 24 points is added.
So, yeah, I like that. But, yeah, I want to see defense, and I want to see a good competitive game against all the best players in the league. Like, I think Jaylen Brown, true, that's true, but I think Jaylen Brown said it best of, like, that shit was just a glorified layup line. Like, that was boring.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I understand if the fans like it. We don't.
Mike Malone,
I think
coaching, he was like, that's the worst game I've ever seen in my life.
You know, like... we've talked about it before with the Pro Bowl, but I'm going to stand on it. The leagues have the money. I think they just need to throw $5-10 million in the middle of the pool, and winning team splits it up evenly.
Yeah.
Give these guys something to play for. Because they don't have anything to play for. Like, they don't even care about wanting to put on a good show for the fans.
Yeah, or like something to where like winning team, the rest of your contract is fully guaranteed. But it doesn't hurt the salary cap, whatever extra is added.
Or I mean, worst comes to worst, do it like how baseball does it. Winning team gets home court advantage.
Yeah, but the thing is, now they're doing the drafts of the All-Stars, so it's not an East-West thing.
True.
You know?
Well, then go back to East-West.
Yeah, true. They need to figure out something or just eliminate it. Because, no, I mean...
Or save it for the end of the year where guys who don't get into the playoffs still want to play some basketball.
Yeah,
you know?
and do it like on a fucking cruise ship or like the battleship. How they did it in college, that one like battleship game in the middle of the ocean on some cool shit like that.
Yeah,
you know,
facts.
You know, circling Guam and we're fucking catching buckets.
Man, you know what? Just put slam ball out there.
You know what?
Get all the trampolines out there, and let's get litty.
They would definitely
Everyone's
not want
just
to
doing
do that.
360.
It hurt.
Yeah, true.
But I feel it. Yeah, something.
Something's got to change there.
Figure out something, or make it like double the size. So it's like the rim is 20 feet high, the rim is double the size, and the ball's double the size.
Yeah, like that. You just fucking.
Or half the size.
I like the higher rim.
Switch something up.
Yeah, go to like 14 foot. No,
and give them like a beach volleyball.
Here's a wiffle ball.
And have like a snitch flying around, and whoever catches it gets an automatic 100 points.
10 points for Gryffindor.
Yeah, they need to figure something out though, because that was hard to watch. It wasn't like anyone, and it's hilarious. Like you're getting the updates off the glass by Bron, job windmill, and it's like that.
Okay, Bron's dunk was actually kind of cool though.
Yeah, it was dope. That was cool. That was cool. There was a lot of cool dunks, a lot of cool alley oops. Dame hit a half quarter, but that I don't know. That was not fun to watch.
No.
Yeah, they need to figure out something. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, no.
An All-Star weekend, that shit was whack. Let's move into some predictions. You know, this is where the real NBA season starts. You know, quoting Bron, it's the most important 3 games left?
Yeah, 23 game stretch in his career though.
Of his career.
He don't miss the postseason 2 years in a row, dog.
Yeah. What do you think he plays? Over under 17 of those games.
Over. I think he plays all 23, to be real with you. Unless he tweaks up, I do.
How many of those games AD plays?
Or I'll tell you what, this is what, depending on how the last 8 games look, we didn't look at their schedule. He's going to play 15 and maybe take 1 just to get right, and then try and play the last 6 or 7 as hard as he can, depending on where they're at in standings.
I'm saying he's probably gonna play 18 of the 20.
You think he'll miss 5 of the last 23 games?
Probably.
Damn, that's just hater talk. That's just hater talk.
AD probably gonna miss 22 of them.
He's probably done. He's shelved for the year.
But let's make some predictions. Big time awards. Yeah. Let's go. Let's start with. Yeah, let's just start with MVP. Okay, let's just talk about it. There really are 3 candidates. Probably the same 3 candidates we've had for 4 years. It's Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid. I know Giannis just hurt his wrist, but
Luka's actually number 2 in the odds now.
Yeah, Luka.
And Tatum's 3 or 4 at plus 500.
I overlook Tatum and all of that shit. I hate Tatum. But if you were voting for MVP, who gets it for you?
I want to say Giannis, just because I truly do think he is the glue to that team. They've won 10 games in a row going into the All-Star break. Number 2 seed, and they're only a half game behind Boston. I mean, Giannis is a real deal, but I think they're going to give it to Jokic again.
Damn.
I do think the 3-peat MVP is just a headline that it will be talked about forever, and it's just good for the NBA. Jokic is a phenomenal player. He's a walk-in triple-double that actually contributes to his team winning games, unlike Russ. But yeah, I think he goes to Jokic. Especially if because they vote on that shit right before the playoffs, right? Or right before the finals.
I think playoffs.
If Denver can stay up there in the top 4 seeds, kind of hard to.
The top 4, though, I think the only way Jokic can win it is if they hold down the number 1 seed. And in my opinion, I don't think Jokic deserves it. I don't think he even deserved it last year. I know Jokic is an awesome player. I like watching him play. But this is what I was going back with the MVP talk of. the defense does not get put into consideration. Like the fact that he had such close numbers to Embiid, what Embiid brings on a defensive level is 10 times more than what Jokic brings. And that's my case for Giannis. Like Giannis brings more to a defensive side than even Embiid and puts up the exact same numbers minus some assists that Jokic puts up. I think their dudes are giving you 8 more points. Luka's averaging 33 points a game. Jokic's at like 26, I think, right now. I don't want to see it go to him 3 years in a row because I know it's a regular season award, but postseason shit has to matter. And my dude has come up nothing. He's come up short every single year.
Yeah.
And has not met any expectations. The entire Denver Nuggets organization has never met expectations. They've come up short every single year. I don't know. Can he be a 3-time fucking MVP in a row if you can't even get to the finals? You can't even get to the Western Conference Finals? Yeah, I don't know. He's a great player, but I would rather see, depending on these last 23 games where Dallas ends up, I would rather see Luka win it.
Okay.
And I'm not the biggest Luka fan, but I want to see some new blood, and I feel like what Luka does is just as important to Dallas as what Jokic does to Denver.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I feel like Denver's has a better cast around Jokic than what Luka's done.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was the slander a little bit on Giannis the last couple of years. It was like he won 2 in a row, and then it's like he has a better team. Look what Jokic is doing in Denver with nobodies, and now, Denver's a very good team. And yes, Jokic is the catalyst behind it, but he's not a complete defensive liability, but yeah, he's not an amazing defender.
Yeah, I got you. All I'm going to say is I'm definitely throwing a hundo on Tatum at plus 500 to win, too. The
amount of love he gets.
Just the amount of love he's getting. He shot the most in the All-Star break, won All-Star MVP. It's just a good story for the NBA as well. And, I mean, Boston's the number 1 seed right now. If they can just be dominant down the stretch here, you might want to put a little sleeper bet on Tatum to win MVP.
Yeah. I think if Giannis didn't hurt his wrist, depending on where he was, I think he still had a shot. But I think, yeah, and don't sleep on Embiid either. I feel like Embiid just gets shit on because everyone considers him the second best center. But I don't know. I think it'd be a crime for him not to at least get 1 MVP in his career. Dude's averaging 32 points a game. Monster on the glass.
I like Embiid too. I'd like to see him win one. I agree with that.
I just don't want to see Jokic win 3 in a row.
Yeah.
I think he's going to win it? Yes, because the amount of talk, that's all the NBA community can. It's ridiculous. He's the Joe Burrow of the fucking NBA right now.
He really is.
But he's done it longer than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's nowhere near the player Jokic is. Just the amount of time. I don't know. Just the 3-peat. No.
Yeah.
No.
Who you got for defensive player of the year?
Honestly, I left it blank because it's another thing too where it's literally storyline. It is going to be Jaren Jackson Jr. That's just been the talk all year. And I feel like they write these narratives all year. It's like Jokic will win his 3rd MVP and Jaren Jackson Jr. will win Defensive Player of the Year. But when you watch him, it's like he doesn't seem like the best defender in the league.
No, he's slow to me. I mean, he's a good basketball player.
And he's athletic and he gets blocks.
Athletic, but he's slow moving around to me. I don't know. I think they're giving it to Giannis.
Really?
I do.
Okay. Damn, another Defensive Player of the Year for him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna.
He's just dominant, bro.
No, he is. I didn't want to put him in there because I had him in my MVP.
True,
but
I feel that. I think it's gonna be the storyline for the MVP. So it's gonna be Tatum with the great Boston team or Jokic getting the 3-peat. So Giannis is just automatically penciled in there. He just plays just as hard on the defensive end as he does on the offensive end.
That is why
he's probably the only player in the NBA that does that.
And he may even try harder on the defensive end. He may try harder on the defensive end than he does on the offensive end, and he can go out there and get you 40, 20, and 10. You just look at him compared to what Luka does. Luka's an amazing offensive player. You want to compare their defenses, you're fucking light years away
Yeah.
for what Giannis brings. Like, that is why he should have, like, in my opinion, he should damn near have been a four-peat MVP. You know, realistically, when you look, he has been probably the best player in the league for the last 4 years. As much as that hurts me, KD's up there for you, boy. I still think he's the best player in the world. But over seasons and what they've done and what they've contributed, Giannis probably could have won the MVP 4 years in a row. Yeah, Defense Player of the Year, it's going to go to Jaren Jackson. It's just the talk, I feel like. And I feel like those gritty teams that are, like, defensive-minded, like, that's the
And
way...
Memphis is just gritty.
And that's the way Boston was perceived last year. Phoenix was more of a softer team, you know, so an amazing defender on more of a flashy, you know, softer team in Mikal Bridges, you know. That's why they gave it to Marcus Smart. You know, it overall defense matters, and the role you play on that defense matters and stuff, but also the image that you guys portray, you know, and they've kind of portrayed this, you know, they're trying to be the new age bad boys, you know, of Memphis, and he's the catalyst on defense for that. I don't know. I don't think he's the best defender in the league, but I think he wins Defense Player of the Year this year.
All right.
Who do you got for most improved? I think this is a shoe-in.
I honestly didn't even think of that. I only wrote down MVP and Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay, bet.
I didn't.
I got SGA. I feel like what that fool Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has done is just... I almost had him penciled in as dark horse MVP candidate. This dude's been balling.
That's what was here. I mean, he wasn't hurt last year. You think he'll get most improved?
Just the sheer jump in performance, I think so.
Yeah.
You know?
And he's worthy of it. I feel like he has progressively gotten better every year.
He's actually 30 a game now.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just walking bucket right now.
Yeah, he's trying to toy with superstar status.
Yeah, I think...
They'll give that. You're right. They'll give that to him because he deserves the recognition, and he's knocking on that door of, like, I'm a superstar in this league.
Yeah.
That's good.
I did write down a Coach of the Year, too. I think they're going to give it to Mike Malone. Just solely for the fact that Denver's kind of held down that number one spot.
You know who's getting it? The Celtics dude who just lost his interim title.
I'm weak.
I don't even know his name. But them being the number one seed and all the drama and whatnot with Ime and their front office was in shambles. No one likes Brad Stevens. Them to find another great young mind that works well with Tatum and Brown. I think the Celtics coach is getting it.
Yeah, Joe Mazzulla.
Joe Mazzulla.
I hate the way he chews gum.
I guess I haven't even. Is he worse than Pete Carroll?
I hate that shit. He's Pete Carroll of the NBA. Just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. Yeah, that wouldn't be a shock. It wouldn't be a shock if all of it. I know the KD addition is gonna help, but like, if money,
yeah,
you know, I mean, and depending, like, if Milwaukee, with the injuries they've had, with the way Middleton really hasn't become himself, if they can get the number one seed, look out for Bud.
You think so?
I mean, for what they've had to overcome, the fact that Middleton has been a shell of himself.
I felt like Bud was on the hot seat.
And like, you said that last year.
That was the talk going around.
I don't know. I never agreed with that though. I feel like he's a great coach for them.
Yeah.
You don't like him though.
He carries himself weird, and like you said, we were talking shit. He seems like the guy that goes out golfing, drinks a 30-pack, and then shows up to the game like, "What's up?"
Yeah, he does. That dude looks fucking beat. He plays 36 holes.
He tries to do what Jordan does
5 times a week.
Coach a game.
That's a good point. Oh, I'm crying. All right, so let's give some predictions for. Let's start Western. Oh. Yeah, let's start with Western Conference Finals. Who do you got in the Western Conference Finals?
Suns Nuggets.
Suns Nuggets, okay. That's who I got.
It's not even really. I mean, we got to talk about it a little bit, but I mean, like you said, Kevin Durant. I know that they need some chemistry and some time to get some flow together, but he's probably the best option to be just a plug and play guy. Can score from anywhere. Doesn't need the ball to score. don't see any way in how the Suns don't get there. And the Nuggets are just a consistent team and have been consistent. I think the Clippers are going to give them a run for the money. The Warriors might even give a little run for the money, but the Warriors just haven't had their shit together this year at all. So I think they're going to fall short, and it's going to be Suns Nuggets.
Okay, that's what I wrote down, and I have an asterisk next to the Nuggets because I have, legitimately, I almost...
Memphis might even
see Memphis.
They're just not consistent enough.
I'm not bought into Memphis. I think they're a good team, but they're gonna be Memphis. They're gonna be the team that makes the playoffs every single year and is a second round exit. They'll make 1 to 2 Western Conference Finals in Ja's tenure, and then I just don't. They're not a championship.
Oh shit!
team.
You don't think Ja will ever get one at all?
And not with this team.
True.
Not the way it's currently constructed. I don't believe so. No, I don't. They're going to be a second round exit. They're going to be that team that's always good. They're going to be what the Toronto Raptors were for years in the East. Always in the mix, always in the talk, never get it done. And that's kind of what Denver's turned into, and that's why I have an asterisk next to them, because I really don't believe in them. I really like Jokic. I do not like Murray. I think he is hot garbage.
He just hasn't been the same since he hurt his knee.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think he's good. I don't think he was good before he hurt his knee. I think he had 3 good games in the bubble, and that's all he's done in his whole career. That's just me. I'm not a fan of him. I really like Michael Porter Jr. forever. That dude is never available.
Man, he would have been so good. He would
The
have been
back?
so good. No, it's real.
I'm telling you.
We're not hating, bro. I mean,
Um,
I see how it is. So I'm not talking shit, but he would have been phenomenal if he didn't have this back shit. He can shoot from anywhere. He's big as fuck. Can jump over you.
yeah.
Seems like he doesn't mind playing defense. He could have really been something in this league. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I feel that. I do too. So you were saying Memphis. I think I have Memphis, and even your Clippers. I like the Clippers, but I think right now, the 2 teams that I think that can beat the Nuggets are going to be Dallas or Golden State, and I really think Golden State doesn't put it together. You don't want to see them, especially if they are able to come in at that 8 spot and they get to play Denver, or Denver falls to 2 and they are the 7 seed. I think it's shaping up to be Suns Warriors.
Okay.
I'm going, yeah.
And KD beats his former team
I
kind
think,
of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going Suns Warriors. I believe in them.
Yeah.
And no one believed in them last year, and they went and did the whole damn thing. I believe in them more than I believe in Denver right now. What you got for the East? This one was tough.
I got Bucks Celtics.
Really?
I don't
What
see.
do I got? Oh, okay.
They're the 2 hottest teams and the 2 best teams in the East, and come to postseason, the way they both like to play, they can carry that on for 7 games, and have no hesitation. So the Sixers might be able to poke around a little bit.
That was my pick.
It's Bucks Celtics.
Okay. I think I put 76ers solely for the fact of I don't know what's going on with the Giannis wrist injury, if he's going to be 100% right, and I don't know what the hell is going on with Chris Middleton. This dude has completely not been able to come back from this injury. He's a completely different player, it seems like.
Yeah.
I did put the 76ers in there. I think Tobias Harris is playing pretty well, and the James Harden and Embiid, they're fun to watch. They're pick and roll. They can always get a bucket.
Yeah.
They
actually seem like they like to play together too. This has been the best situation for Harden since Houston.
100%.
Before Chris Paul got there, even.
Yeah, and I think if Giannis isn't 100% right, they can beat Milwaukee in a 7-game series. I think it's gonna have to be. It's gonna be.
Embiid's the best possible scenario to match up with Giannis.
Yeah, it's all gonna be on Embiid's shoulders, so he's gonna have to average 40 a night. But yeah, I got Celtics. Yeah, Celtics 76ers.
Okay.
And I picked. I got Suns 76ers in the finals.
Okay.
I do think this is the year the 76ers get there, and then I put Suns in 5. I almost put Suns in 4 with the homie, but I think Sixers get 1. That's just my early prediction.
All right. Yeah, that's what I went Suns Bucks rematch,
Oh,
and KD's the one to get him over the hump.
yeah, he's a good neutralizer for Giannis. Those matchups are fun.
Because I mean, like you said, KD can score 30 on 10 touches. You know, like the Suns have the firepower to keep up with Milwaukee. Milwaukee just, I think, beat them at their own game with the run and gun that year in the finals. Because Bucks won in 6, right?
Yeah,
Just absolutely annihilated.
because Suns went up 2-0 and then lost 4 straight.
Yeah, and that Kevin Durant's the neutralizer. I think the Suns are going to beat the Bucks, but I got Suns Bucks final.
Okay. Okay. Your boy's back in it, huh?
Oh, you know I gotta go with Milwaukee. Come on now.
I'm crying.
I honestly am just not a fan of Boston.
I can't stand him.
I mean, you and I go back to listen to our episodes last year. I mean, we were probably the number one hate party for Jason Tatum. So,
You know what?
there's something about him and them that just, I don't know, rubs me the wrong way.
I hate him.
And it's not like a act like you've been here before kind of thing. I don't know how to explain it.
I just hate the overhype on dudes of like, you don't want to see him in this series. It's
I
like
think
they haven't done
that's-
anything in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, you made it to Eastern Conference Finals. Like, to me, when you're that good of a team, yeah, oh my God, they made it to these Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals. It's like, yeah, and that's the plateau that you're at. You're not a championship team.
Yeah.
You know, yes, they made it last year, but it's like the fact that they blew that to the Warriors, a huge asterisk on them. They're a good team though. But something's gonna happen. 76ers. Joel Embiid's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. KD's gonna get his 3rd ring. It's gonna be good for him. It's gonna be good for him. Yeah, dope.
It'll be all right for him.
Yeah, let's wrap it up though.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't have anything.
Yeah, we will keep you guys up to date, everything NBA as the season, comes to a close. And keep you guys up to date on everything off season for the NFL, going forward. The franchise tag window just opened. Free agency is officially about to start.
All the coaching positions are filled.
Yeah, the new league year is less than a month away. And keep you guys up to date on all of that. As always, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the same, _ we think we know _ Don't forget to use that CBD every single day. Hemp House is the only ones keeping us moving. And as always, tell your friends about us. Deuces.
Later.
That was good.
Cool. Yeah, not bad.
I'm sweating.
I wish I was